Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with a brand new early Netflix movie review, and today we'll be discussing a new animated action comedy by the name of The Mitchells vs. the Machines, which will be coming to theaters this Friday, April 23rd, but will be available to stream on Netflix April 30th. Now, I got the chance to check it out early, and I'm really excited to let you all know what I thought about this animated collaboration between Sony and Netflix, and if you all should be excited for it, all in this spoiler-free review. Before we dive into it, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. That way you can get the alert from when I drop new early reviews like this. It would mean the world to me if you all can like and share this review. It helps out the channel a lot, but I also appreciate all the support. And in the comments, let me know if this film was on your radar, if you were excited for it. And of course, once you've seen it, whether that's in theaters or on Netflix, what'd you think about it? Did you have a good time? Let me know your pros, your cons, your thoughts on the animation style, the characters, the comedy. Are you afraid of your smartphone after watching this film? Let's discuss it all in the comments below. So this film has definitely been plagued with many different delays in the last year. It was initially supposed to only come out in theaters. You know, in the last couple months, Netflix picked it up. And I'm not going to lie, when I saw the trailer last year, I wasn't all that excited for it. The only thing that really did get me excited was, number one, the animation looked incredible, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then knowing that Lord and Miller were behind it, which they are behind, you know, one of my favorite animated films in the last decade, or say in 2009 actually, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, but of course 2018's phenomenal Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So those were the things that kind of got me excited. And then knowing that, you know, we got closer to the release date and I saw more pictures and behind the scenes, it got me a little bit more hype for the film. And here we are discussing it. Starting off with my positives, man, this film, if I were to describe this movie, I will say it definitely gives me shades of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, as far as the family-friendly animation style, mixed in with the incredible, stunning animation from Spider-Verse. And then you give me similar plot beats to films like I, Robot meets Family Vacation. So all that put into a ball, and here we are with this film. And going off of that point as far as animation, this animation of this movie was absolutely stunning. Now, when it comes to Sony animation department, again, I mentioned Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball. The first one I really enjoyed. The second one, not a big fan. Lord and Miller weren't directing that film. I think of stuff like The Smurfs, which I think are terrible films. And then you look at Surf's Up, you look at, you know, Hotel Transylvania, which I like. And then, of course, I mentioned Spider-Verse. So they're kind of hit or miss for me. But based on 2018, now going into this film, I am just blown away. I mean, listen, Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks, you name it. Sony has something up their sleeves when it comes to this next generation of animation, because the animation for this film is absolutely gorgeous. I was blown away by just how colorful it was, how it popped, how much fun it was. The animation is a character in itself. It brings you into this wackiness, into this world of robots taking over the world, which might not be too far off based on how much we rely on technology, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I thought the animation was phenomenal. I am so impressed by Sony with, again, 2018, again, that movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, is one of my favorite animated films of all time, and just the style and the way that looked, they carried that momentum and that style and that look and that feel into this movie. It has its own flavor and style to it itself, but I was just absolutely blown away by that, which again comes to no surprise. Whenever Lord and Miller are attached to animation, I'm always going to be excited for it. But I also want to give props to the director here, Mike Redea, who I'm not too familiar with his work, but now after watching this film, he is on my radar. I thought he did such a great job of, number one, bringing the story together, having some great visuals with his animation team, but also having a lot of heart, having a lot of substance, having something to say, and not only balancing that line between family friendly, but also having some, you know, relatability for adult like me. I thought he did such a great job of that, so I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for this director moving forward. And he also had his appearance in this film as he's voicing one of the characters, which brings me to the cast in the voice performances, starting off with our main family, the Mitchell family, led by Katie, who's voiced by Abbi Jacobson, who I'm a big fan of Abbi. For all my Broad City fans out there, I think she's a great actress, but her voice and her character, Katie, who's our main character in this film, who's approaching the age when she's, 18, she's going off to college, and she hasn't really found her group of people. She's a very unique girl. She loves animation. She loves creating movies. She's just a fun person, but a lot of people aren't really gravitating towards her. But now she's going to college. She's going to college to do film and video, and she's able to find her group of people via social media and getting excited to go to college. and saying goodbye to her family. And her family, very unique characters, her mom, her dad, her little brother, and she feels like it's just time for her to move on and turn a new page and almost kind of leave her family behind. And just seeing Katie's story, I love that character. I love the journey that she goes on, and I'll talk about a little bit about the themes of being able to find out who you are as a person, but at the same time, not forgetting where you come from. And I love that story with her. But also, I do want to give a shout out to the rest of her family members. You have Danny McBride, who plays Rick Marshall, the dad of the family, who is the complete opposite of his daughter. He knows nothing about technology, smartphones, computers, you name it. He's more of an outdoors, hands-on type of guy. And just seeing their dynamic, the father and daughter relationship, how they're two completely separate people, but they share the same thing and the love for one another. So I love that character. I got to give a shout out to Maya Rudolph, who plays Linda Mitchell, who is the mother, badass mom who wants to see her husband and daughter get closer together. But if you mess with her family, you better watch out. And also, I can't forget to mention Aaron, who's the little brother, who's voiced by the director of this film. I thought the family dynamic was fantastic, very relatable, unique, very quirky, but fun family. And I had a great time with them. And the rest of this cast is phenomenal. Eric Andre, Olivia Colman, you have Blake Griffin, John Legend. I mean, this cast is really great. Conan O'Brien, the cast just does a really great job. So I thought that everyone kind of brought their own kind of sensibilities to the character and made it a lot of fun. So I definitely applaud the voice performances, which brings me into the story. This film has so much heart. It's so relatable because I think we've all been at that point in our lives where we want to kind of, we're 18, we're going off to college, going off to school, whatever the case may be. We're moving out of the house for the first time and we want to discover who we are as a person. But then we sometimes say we forget how much our family or our moms or dads, if we grew up with a family, I grew up with just my mom and my grandmother, but we somewhat forget how much they sacrificed and what they did for us and how they've kind of helped us grow into the people we come to be. And we kind of forget about that. And I love how the film focuses on that, the sacrifices made by Rick and Linda in regards to what Katie and her brother are able to do today and the sacrifice they had to make. So I just kind of love that relatability factor of, again, you can learn who you are as a person, rediscover yourself as being, into adulthood, but don't forget about your family. Don't forget about your loved ones. And even though you have changed, and then again, we see Katie, she's found her own group of people, but she still can relate to her dad, loving her dad. And even though they're two completely different people, they can still find something to relate with, which is their love for one another. So I just really love that message. And also the thing, too, that this film tackles, which I think did such a great job, technology, man. We rely so heavily on technology. And this film doesn't do the thing where it's like heavy-handed saying that technology is evil and bad or technology is the best thing ever. It gives you the best of both worlds, where we see what Katie's able to do with technology, which she's able to connect to other people that share the same interests that she has. But at the same time, we're so consumed with our technology, we forget to interact with the people that are next to us, right? To interact with our family. So I love that the film kind of touches on how technology can be both a good thing and could be somewhat of a bad thing at times, but it's still overall how you are able to handle the technology, which I love about that. Again, the film tackles family dynamic, especially with the father and daughter relationship, being yourself, acceptance. There's a lot of great themes within this story. And then last but not least, I mentioned this is an action comedy, and this film definitely has some really good, solid action, especially in that second and third act of the film. Sequences that take place in the mall with a bunch of Furbies, which I won't get into, as well as the third act when we see Linda really protecting her family. So the action, the themes, the voice acting, the direction, the animation, all positives in my book, which brings me to my criticism in the film. Now, I mentioned that this is a road trip movie. We have Katie going off to college for the first time, and on her road to going to college, there's the robot takeover. So I would say the road trip aspect was okay. It wasn't the most interesting for me, which is like the first 25 minutes of the film. It's not that it was bad, but it's not until like the 30-minute mark of the film, which is like the back half into the first half of the film, leading to the second half. That's when the film really kind of picked up its momentum. I thought the first half, it was a little bit more too kid-friendly. Again, it is PG, which is understandable, but some of the jokes were just a little bit too like, can we get a little edgier? I don't want rated R, but it was just a little bit too kid-friendly. But again, to me, it's not until we actually hit the apocalypse of the robots taking over until the film really kind of picks up its personality and its life, and it really kind of takes off from there. So That's really my only criticism with the film. So before I give you my score and my overall thoughts of this movie, make sure to like the video, share the video, leave your thoughts in the comments. Of course, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. That way you don't miss any of my other reviews. With that being said, overall, I believe we have an early front runner for Best Animated Film for next year's Oscars. This film has so much heart. The action is top notch and the animation is absolutely gorgeous. The voice cast did a phenomenal job, and the story about rediscovering what makes you unique and special really sticks to landing. With that being said, I'm going to give The Mitchells versus the Machines a solid 4 out of 5. Listen, that's just based on my first viewing. I will be watching this again. Maybe I'll check it out in theaters. We'll see what that holds for me in the future, but I really love this film. It has so much heart. The animation, I can't stress enough how beautiful this film is. The characters are great, and it's just a fun movie, guys. So with that, I recommend you give it a watch. Again, if you're able to see it in theaters come this Friday, give it a chance. If you feel safe, of course, if theaters are open, but if not, April 30th, you definitely want to mark your calendars and watch this film on Netflix. So that's my thoughts on Mitchells versus the Machines. Let me know what you all thought of the film once you've seen it. Leave your comments below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and hit the bell. That way you don't miss any of my other content. We got a lot of reviews coming this week, so keep an eye out for that. So hope you all enjoyed this review. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you on the next video.